whispering ramble. I feel like I haven't done a whispering ramble in a bit. I apologize. This thing is going to auto light here. I'm in the dining room area of the kitchen, so the lighting's weird. So this thing, if I keep moving, it's going to readjust itself. But anyway, I'm going to be reviewing Strawberry Sunrise Alani energy drink. I got this one the other day with a lot of other stuff. Starting up with these drink reviews. And I will give a score on this and then ramble about some things. God, that was loud. There's a bad echo in here. Like, it echoes pretty bad. Okay, that's pretty good. Strawberry Sunrise, did I call it that? This is pretty good, actually. I feel like I've liked a lot of these quite a bit. I haven't hated too many of the energy drinks. A few of them I probably have. There was one that was Celsius I thought was bad. It's good going. Nice strawberry taste in there. It's pretty crisp as well. Not bad at all. But pretty good on this one, I gotta say. Like I said, it's nice getting these nicer beverages going from those coffee drinks, which were just not doing it anymore. The first two were solid, and then it was all downhill from there. I also have this is going up Sunday morning, and I'm also going to have the tea and biscuits video going up Sunday afternoon. I'm trying to get a nice push there going into the new week, and this hat collects so much fuzz, man. I can't even get that off. Whatever. Trying to just, kind of get in there. I'm gonna Monday morning. I'm gonna probably film. I'm probably gonna get it up Monday. I was thinking Tuesday, but the NBA video is probably gonna go up. Well, it's gonna be Monday. I'm filming this Saturday evening. We picked up I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 as well. I like it's a nice strawberry taste. It's pretty crisp and light for an energy drink, which is nice. It's just a solid taste, so I definitely go an 8 on this. Also, someone was asking if I would briefly talk about, he's playing, this is Saturday night, but it's going up Sunday. The Capitals are playing the Islanders. Ovechkin tied Gretzky's record against Chicago. He's got 894. Realistically, he's going to probably score at least 2. I feel like he scores a good amount of goals against the Islanders in his career. He'll probably do at least 2 against them. And if it doesn't happen that day, it's going to happen very soon. He's on a big roll. I think he's got like 41 goals now, and he missed it by like 10, 15 games. So he's going to break that. Realistically, it's going to happen against the Islanders. Which we kind of figure, but I don't know if that's in Washington or if it's in New York. Let me check and see where that game is. Islanders beat the Wild their last game, which was Friday night. I don't want the Islanders to make the playoffs, so I kind of just want the Capitals to win straight up. Let Ovechkin get his goal. But that's cool, that record's been in place. I guess since Gretzky's last year in the league was it 97, 98? It was, yeah, I think it was 97, 98 was Gretzky's last year. So, 2007, 2008, over 20 years, 25, 27 years, something like that. Ovechkin's a hell of a goal scorer, clearly. Obviously, he's going to be the league leader. I don't know if that record's going to get broken after him. When it comes to goals, I would say Ovechkin's probably the best pure goal scorer. Mike Bossy, Islander great, won 4 cups on that Islanders dynasty team in the early 80s. His career got cut short, and I think he ended up, like, his back was all fucked up by the end. But he has the best goals per game out of anybody. I think he had like 600 goals in like 10 years or some shit. Like, he was ridiculous. Obviously, Gretzky could score. You almost don't even think as Gretzky as a goal scorer, which sounds insane. But he obviously is a great goal scorer. I think Ovechkin's the best pure goal scorer, though. Like, you could sit here and say, well, he has the most goals ever, so he's the best. You could say the same thing about Gretzky, but I don't even know if I'd necessarily call him the greatest goal scorer just because he has the most. It sounds weird, right? It sounds weird. Like, Brett Hull is another one that's an incredible goal scorer. Let's see. Okay, I want to see if they're playing, if that's in New York or not. Yeah, it's in New York. Nice. So the Islanders are going to get a sellout thanks to Ovechkin. Because the crowd's going to be there. It's pretty close to Washington. I wouldn't be surprised if some people make the trip up from D.C. to check it out, because I'm sure there's tickets available. I feel like, I don't know how the Islanders are selling this year. They've sold better than they normally do, but I feel like fans are kind of done. But, and then they're fighting for the President's Trophy. It's crazy to me that he only has 1 cup. It's crazy to me that his teams, the Capitals in general, because it's not just Ovechkin, Backstrom was incredible too. And they had other players as well. Who was it? Holtby was their goalie during a lot of that run. They only got out of the second round once, and it was when they won the cup. So they got the cup, which is key. But it's surprising that he hasn't had more. Like, him and the teams haven't had deeper runs, because there was times they won the President's Trophy at least, 2 or 3 times? Of course, that doesn't mean anything in hockey. President's Trophy winners usually getting eliminated in the first round. But realistically, tomorrow he's going to break it. He's going to get a hat trick or something. If it's not tomorrow, it's going to happen. He's going to probably pop 900 at least by the end of this season. And I was saying, because he said he's going to play, I think next year is maybe the last year of his contract, and he was thinking, I'm going to play out this contract, and then he's going to go back over to Russia and play over there or something. I thought I heard that he said that. But say he gets 900 this year, say he scores 5 more goals, gets 900. And he comes back next year and he pops like another 40, 45. He's going, because he's still, dude, he's like, what is he? He's not 40, is he? But he's been in the league a while. You gotta remember, hockey players, when they're great, typically are playing when they're like 18. They start 18, 19. So he's been in the league, what was his first year? 5, 6? Was it after the strike season? Was his first season 5, 6? I don't know if he is 40 or if he's like 38, 39. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But he's got 40 goals this year. Like, he's scoring at a great clip still. So if he plays next year and all of a sudden he pops 45, you're gonna tell me, like, just sign another 1 or 2 year deal. This guy can hit 1,000 goals. How sick would that be? Because no one's gonna touch 1,000 goals. Of course, you never know, right? 100 years from now, NHL, right? Someone's scoring 90 goals a freaking season or some shit. But, or if he goes on a run, like I said, if he gets to like 9, like, there'd be such a tempting 1,000 goals. Like, I would say he'd almost be like, fuck it. Or even just sign a 2-year deal with like an out clause after 1 or whatever. The team's not going to care if he retires, whatever. But sign it. And then say he has 900 next year, he plays, he only gets like 25 goals. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to keep pushing it. Or whatever, you know. Because when you get to that age in a sport, you could still be ripping it up, but all of a sudden you hit the wall and you're done. You know, you go from still being solid to be like, oh my God, I can't do it. But that'd be 1,000 goals. Can you imagine that? But yeah, I cut the lawn today. It was like, hey, mid-80s the last 2 days, and tomorrow, Sunday's supposed to be mid-80s as well. But it's hot as shit. And I'm like, I gotta get back into it. I'm like walking down the hill going that way, and my legs are feeling. I'm like, I gotta get back into the groove of cutting the lawn, because this lawn's a pain in the ass, and I'm using a push mower, so it's a lot of, like, you gotta balance yourself, because the lawn just goes like this, you know. And then when you're going down the side lawns, you gotta go. I didn't do the top lawn. I'll probably do that Sunday when this goes up. Because then you gotta go up. That won't be too much pain in the ass. We bought a bunch of plants. We got stuff in the greenhouse. Some flowers and also vegetables. We got 2 tomato plants. We have some growing. We got zucchini growing that we planted from seeds. Peppers from seeds that were growing. We got another pepper plant. She got some herbs, I think. She got some lavender, some herbs, like parsley, I think. Basil, something else. We actually got a fig tree. We're gonna get like a pretty big pot for that. There's clay here, so it's not like traditional, like regular dirt. And we can't find anywhere to really put it because there's a lot of bushes and stuff, a lot of root action. I mean, you could throw it in one of the wooded areas, but that's not gonna work, I don't think. So we're gonna get a pretty beefy pot for this thing and see what it does. That was $15. I gotta get a seed spreader. My nose has been running like all day. I don't know why. Oh, we got watermelon too that I actually put in the ground, and we're gonna see if it does anything with this clay and stuff. It might struggle. I don't know. We'll find out if it does or not. It was that. It was like $4. Let's see if something happens. Because we put it in a space where it can grow, where there's not roots from other things. And it's not a big area, but and there's a couple of hostices, a little bit off to the side. So, realistically, we could have tried the fig tree there, but I don't know. I'd rather get this in a pot with soil just in case it struggles to grow. It's better off being in that. So that will be nice. I'll get some vegetables going. We planted some seeds for herbs, but just I think some chives I think are the only thing that's coming up. It's like an Amazon like little grow kit I got her for Christmas, like $10. See if I have to get some shit, and it doesn't seem to be doing much of anything. So, what else? Oh yeah, we got fertilizer, but I gotta get a seed spreader. Hand seed spreader because I've mentioned this before. It was like there was like a couple weeks when like a month after we got here, throughout like maybe end of June, mid-July, where it was like 90s every day and it wasn't raining. So the lawn's huge, and you can't water it. We're gonna be wasting our well water trying to keep this lawn green. You gotta be watering it 24/7. So the lawn got pretty scorched, and a lot of weeds are coming up. So I gotta get fertilizer there with weed kill and turf builder. Spread that out and whatnot. Hold on a second here. Sorry about that. I had to blow my nose there. And I actually farted when I started blowing my nose. That's the kind of candidness you get on this channel. I keep it real. Got Indy coming a couple of weeks. I'm excited to play that. I'm excited to throw down on that game. It's one of the few games I paid the full price for. Whatever it's going to end up being, like 74 and change. I did that with Silent Hill 2 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and they were both worth it. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, I got like 90 hours of gameplay, if not more. Silent Hill 2, I put like 20. Did I put like 20 something into that? I think I did. But I love that game. I couldn't wait for that to drop. I needed it immediately, and the experience was incredible. So typically I wouldn't do that on a game like that, but it's Silent Hill 2, so I had to. I don't do it often, even when it was $60 in the other generation. I did it with Resident Evil Village. I did it with Halo Infinite. I typically just won't do it. Like, I'm just like, because these games, unless I absolutely need it, such as Final Fantasy Rebirth, 7 Rebirth, or Silent Hill 2, or Indie now, Most games I can wait until there's a sale. Like Elder Scrolls is another one I would have to get immediately. Even GTA 6, I can wait. When people start boning over it in videos and stuff, I might get the real urge to get it, but I'm gonna realistically wait on that. Of course, I'm sure Microsoft and Sony are gonna be watching to see how many people start buying these Switch 2 games at $80, and they're like, okay, we're gonna start charging $80, $90 now. It's like, oh shit, here we go. The funny thing is, back in the Super Nintendo, NES as well, Super Nintendo was worse than Genesis, where games like Mortal Kombat, I had to be like $80 or $90 when it came out. Link to the Past was like $70, $80. N64, it was still doing it. These cartridge-based games, the PlayStation was cheaper because it was on disc. But like, my friend and I have talked about this. We split Road Rash 64 was $70. We split it 35 apiece, and we just, we lived right down the block from each other, so it didn't matter. I'd play it for a week, he'd give it to him or whatever. Or play it to completion, pass it back around, whatever. But Mario 64, Pilot Wings, I think were the 2 launch games, and they were like $70. So this is not like a new thing. It just seems crazier now. It's actually worse then, because people were making less. So you're spending, especially in the Super Nintendo NES games, it's like, damn, $75 a game. The minimum wage and everything else, salaries for everybody were lower than they were now. So it's still, 70 is a lot, especially as it just creeps up over time. I think the sweet spot was kind of 60. Really, in reality, was kind of the sweet spot, but of course, it all depends on. A lot of stuff goes on sale. Nintendo was actually notorious for not having their stuff. Like, their games will go on sale at like Best Buy or Amazon, Target, Walmart, GameStop. But they don't like drop the price of their games typically. Like, I feel like Super Mario Wonder and Link's Awakening, these games are still like $60, $50, $60. I think a lot of Switch games actually were coming out at 50 and some came out at 60. I think the price of the system, although I think Japan pulled back on the pre-orders because of the tariff shit that's happening, they might bump the price up. It doesn't matter. I'm not buying the thing for at least 2 or 3 years. I don't, dude, I think $450 for the system I don't think is that bad, honestly. The games at that price is a little, but like I was going to say just before, I get Final Fantasy Rebirth at $70. I put 90 hours into it. I'm paying less than $1 an hour for fucking gameplay, Sure, like, GTA was $80, $90. You're gonna get your money's worth. It just sucks to be like, I gotta drop $90 on a video game, I mean, back in the day, it was even, although it wasn't. By the Super Nintendo era, a lot of games had save. Not all of them did. Some had password systems, even back. Some NES games had saves on them as well. Had batteries in them to save. But some of those, when you actually beat those games at like 30 minutes, 25 minutes. Altered Beast on the Genesis is like 15 minutes. If you actually beat it, it's like 15, 20 minutes. It's insane. Problem is, you'd be dying. That game was actually kind of easy, but certain games are so hard, it'd take you a year to beat them because you couldn't save. You're playing Mega Man or some shit, and it takes you forever to beat it because you can't save. Unless people would leave their systems on overnight and shit. This is good. 8 out of 10 on this Strawberry Sunrise Alani. Like I said, I start doing these drink reviews. I got the Team Biscuits video going up. That was fun. Those spoilers here. If you're watching this video, you watched this video before the other one. I liked them. I liked the digestives. That was good. I threw in a little English accent there. That was. Oh, I apologize. But it was fun. I'm excited to do the other stuff as well. I'll probably mix another one of the drink reviews with trying some of this stuff. Maybe I do a drink review with just the chips I got, and then do another one with the candy on its own without a drink. I typically like to mix the drink reviews with something instead of just doing a drink review because, I don't know, I just like to. Now I know this is no gum chewing in this, so this is immediately not going to do the numbers, but I don't care. Sometimes if I know a video is not going to do well, I'll just put another video up later in the day if I'm trying to keep my views. Because when if you make videos and your views are spiking, you want to keep that momentum going. Always. If they're kind of just whatever, it's not as bad. Sometimes I'll put views pretty much, like if my views per 48 hours are dropping pretty badly, I can raise them up. If you make videos, you're looking at your analytics a lot. If you're making videos at the rate I do, and plenty of people are, you're constantly looking at your analytics, I feel. But I don't mind it either. Like sometimes I don't want to put up 2 videos in a day because I'm like, oh, I could just spread this out further. But when I have content ready to go, and I'm in a pretty nice groove, oddly enough, I do still want to get some role plays up this month, but I feel like I'm in a nice groove with these eating videos, these varied rambles on different topics, the drink reviews, and then sprinkling some gameplays. I like that groove that I'm in there. But I am going to get some role plays up over the course of this month. You know, we're only in the 5th day of the month when I'm filming this. These will be going up the 6th, but... And I'm going to have that gameplay on the 7th, probably. I'm not going to have time to film it tomorrow, but I'll probably film it. I'll be up early on Monday morning. I'll film it, get out of the way early, get it up by maybe like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, Eastern time, U.S., and then, go from there. Because there's been days where I can't film, I don't have the time, so I have been doing more filming videos, multiple videos in a day, which is a nice groove to get into, because then I have the days I can't film and I don't have the time to, although sometimes even still I'll squeeze a video in if I can. Yeah, I might take a few days this month without videos too. It depends. That's the thing. In my mind, I'm always like, all right, I'm going to give myself a couple of days, and then I'm just on a roll, and I just like going with it. I grabbed this by accident when I brought this stuff out here. This is the charger for my. Did I show this new phone? This Motorola. Yeah, I showed this, right? It's not pretty nice. What did I pay for this? Like $40. That's the phone I get. $40. It does exactly what it needs to do, too. But anything else? I want to talk about this real quick. The show Yellow Jackets, if you watch this show, I think it's in its 3rd season. This show, it's about a soccer team in the 90s, high school soccer team, girls soccer team. They crash in the woods, plane crash, and then they're forced to, cannibalism, etc. From, you've seen these type of movies before. And then they flash back to when it happened, and their experience in the woods with the woods. There's like some kind of like otherworldly thing causing issues, right? They always say we got to give it what it wants, the woods or whatever it wants. And then it flashes to them doing stuff when I don't think they showed them at any point getting out, but they show them as adults, the people who survived. This show was really cool the first 2 seasons. And I don't hate it right now, but it is falling off a cliff in this 3rd season. It's just they're dragging shit out. It's just, I don't know, the characters are like, some of the characters are becoming so unlikable. I don't know if they're trying to make it that way. You gotta remember they've done some screwed up stuff while in the woods, so you're not really supposed to root for them if you think about it to begin with. But some of them are getting, Shauna's character, and I'm not saying the acting's bad, it's just the character's so unlikable, her character at this point. Both versions, her younger version and her adult version, are just like, at first, like, it wasn't that way with her, but the third season, I'm like, oh my god, she's getting annoying as hell. I'm like, she's supposed to be evil, right? Like, my fiance, I'm like, we want her to die, right? She's fucking ridiculous. It's funny, and it started off where Misty, Christina Ricci's character, at first is like, and she still is, but she's almost the most likable now. Which is kind of funny, because she was like, you're like, oh my god, she's nuts. Some of the other characters, like Elijah Wood's character, is starting to get annoying too. And it's not that they're all acting so well, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. That show has kind of fallen off a cliff for me. It really has. They just introduced Hilary Swank as one of the girls that is now older. She got introduced. One of the main characters. I think she only popped up in the 2nd season. as an adult version. One of them died in the last episode. Spoilers! God almighty. It just keeps running. My nose is walking. I'm gonna have to freaking, I hate to do this. I know you guys don't like when I do the mute, but this is gonna be. I'm wasting these napkins. But yeah, that show is it's kind of like fuck. We finished up Reacher and the third season. Good finale. It was. I like the third season better than the second. I like the second too. First is still probably my favorite of the three seasons, but the second is the weakest of the three. Don't think we've watched anything else. We watched, like I said, we watched a couple movies. I think I talked about them already. I watched last night in Soho on my 4K Ultra Blu-ray, whatever the fuck it's called. That was a good movie. I like that. I talked about that previous video. Nothing really is coming out in the theaters that I'm that interested in either. Like, it's super interested to want to see in the theater. I saw a trailer for Thunderbolts, that Marvel movie. That actually looks pretty good. I think I talked about it in a previous video probably a month ago. That Superman trailer I like that. People were like, they were very divided. A lot of people loved it, but a lot of people were like, fuck, it's not Henry Cavill, it's bullshit. I thought it looked pretty good. Will I see it in the theater? Probably not, but like I talked about in the past, I got so, that's DC, but in terms of superhero movies and Marvel in particular, I was like, this is too much shit, dude. It's like Star Wars. It's too much. Oh, shows, movies, 8 movies a year, 5 shows. Fuck out of here. And I think you just get bored of it. It's like the same shit every movie. But like, I remember seeing the first Captain America. That was cool. I saw the first 2 Thors. They were cool. I think I eventually saw Ragnarok, and that was good. But I think I saw that one. That's one with the Hulk, right? He was in it. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. That was cool. I like the other 2 ones too as well. But that's because I like, it's X-Men related. So I really like the X-Men. That's why I like Days of Future. The X-Men feel so much different than the Avengers and all the other Marvel shit. It just feels so different. And I just like the X-Men. The X-Men's like grittier to me, and it's just more, more serious. But I haven't seen Endgame. I've seen parts of this stuff on YouTube. But Endgame, Infinity Ward, I have not seen. Did I say Infinity Ward? No, not the company that made the earlier Call of Duties. Infinity War, that one, I have not seen. I saw some of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I don't think I saw the first Doctor Strange. Maybe I did. I didn't see Civil War, Captain America Civil War. I don't think did I see Winter Soldier? Maybe I did. I didn't see that new one, obviously, the Captain America Brave New World. I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen, because it's out new, I wouldn't have seen it yet anyway, if I was interested in it. I didn't see, like, Black Widow or The Eternals. I did see Captain Marvel. I thought it was alright. I watched it on a plane, I think. That's what I'm playing. I was like, this is alright. I didn't see the second one, though. I didn't see, what else is there? Fuck, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Ant-Mans, I don't think. Who else is I have seen the first 2 Iron Mans. Those are older ones now at this point, which is crazy. It's a lot I haven't seen. And the shows I have not. Have I watched any of the shows? No, because there was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I haven't seen that. There's She-Hulk. I haven't seen that. There was, what the hell is the guy's name? I did see the first season of Daredevil. I did see the first season of Jessica Jones. Those are older now. That's when it was on Netflix. There's Luke Cage, I think, had a show. There's a couple other people that had shows too, right? They were on Netflix at the time. I know Daredevil's back, but I have no interest. What was that show? Was it? Was it Oscar Isaac that was in it? What the fuck was that name? Something with Moon or something? I don't know what it was called. I gotta look this up now, too. As you're all yelling, you're like, it's friggin'... It's this show. Moon Knight? Was it just called Moon Knight? I'm gonna say it was Moon Knight. I need to know now, if I'm right. I haven't seen that. Granted, I don't have Disney, so I wouldn't be seeing it anyway. Yes, it was Moon Knight. Wasn't like the Marvels one, too? I haven't seen that. No. And whatever else there is, I haven't seen it. I like the X-Men stuff. Like I said, the X-Men from back in the day. Days of Future Past, I really liked. First Class was really good. I thought Apocalypse was decent. Although they still have not done a good Apocalypse, like, on screen. Although there really has been only him, right? Did they try to make another one? And I watched some of the Dark Phoenix one, and that was... no, that wasn't good. I think a lot of them are going to be in this Doomsday, the Secret Wars one. I have not seen the newer the first two Fantastic Four I saw with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba. The guy who played the Commish, and he was in the Shield. I can't remember his name. And the other dude, I can't remember his name. Oh, he's been in a bunch of stuff. I thought those were okay. I have not seen. They made another one, right? And there's a new one coming out, right? It's too much for me. I don't know. It's like Star Wars. Eventually, I'm like, I'm done. I'll watch the ones I like. I just can't keep track anymore. And it's like, half of them aren't that great. Half are good. It's like, I'm not. I did watch Obi-Wan show. And for as ridiculous as it was in terms of like, oh, Obi-Wan left the planet and young Leia, I still enjoyed it for what it was. I can easily kind of suspend my disbelief in terms of like what should be happening. Now, personally, if I was doing an Obi-Wan show, like when I heard they were doing it, I was like, dude, they need to have Obi-Wan just be on Tatooine. He's isolated, he's alone, living in the middle of nowhere, and he's kind of losing his shit. You know, maybe he helps out some people and stuff as well, but I feel like he's getting a little bitter and stuff, and he's got an edge to him. I want to kind of see that. And maybe if they do a second season, there'll be more of that. I don't know. Although Obi-Wan doesn't take me as the character, doesn't take me as someone who would like lose his shit. He'd be even killed, but maybe he's just with everything that happened. But you kind of can't do that now with the way the Obi-Wan show ended. You know, like oh look, I met Vader again. I like the idea that Vader he can't take him. Like Obi-Wan's just a dude he can't beat. It's just never gonna happen, right? You know, everybody's got somebody, right? You match up, and he taught him, so he's gonna know his shit. And he knows how to take advantage. Like Obi-Wan's slick. Obi-Wan's probably like the slickest of the Jedis. Like he'll fuck with you. He'll get you to like kind of defeat yourself and stuff. He'll do what it takes. Obi-Wan's that Jedi that will do what it takes, and he'll throw down too. And then he throw down a little bit of Jango Fett. That was a good fight. That's one of the only really good scenes from Attack of the Clones is their fight. I feel like he has no problem like getting into fisticuffs if he has to. Yeah, that was. I just what other shows were there? Like Skeleton Crew, Acolyte. People were shitting all over the Acolyte. People were saying Skeleton Crew was kind of cool. It's like a Goonies type thing. What else have they done? There's like the dude from Rogue one of those characters. They have a show. I don't know what it's called. People like that one. Apparently, that's coming back. But I think it's too much. You know, it's like you pick and choose, right? I'll probably like this one. I'll watch it. Like I watched some of The Mandalorian. I was just like, pfft. And people love that show, but I'm just like, I'm not seeing it. Did it suck? No, from what I watched, but I just wasn't into it. I was like, whatever. I watched a little of the Boba Fett show, and I was like, no, like what? I think Boba Fett probably should have never. They shouldn't. Oh, he made it out of the Sarlacc pit, and he probably shouldn't have. I feel like that character's better off being mysterious. He shouldn't have been in. He realistically shouldn't have been in Attack of the Clones either, episode 2. But you know, Jango made a clone that would age properly. It's like, okay, dude. If you think back to and I love the prequels for what they are. So I didn't get to see the originals in the theater. I wasn't born when the first one came out, or A New Hope came out. I was like a year old when Empire came out, and I was was like 4 when Return of the. I didn't see him in the theater. I saw him on TV when I was young, but so the prequels were the ones where I was like early. I was 20 or just before 20 when Phantom Menace came out, and then I was like 23 or 22, and then 24, and I just liked them, even though they had some of the dialogue was freaking brutal, and like it's just George Lucas shoehorning. I don't know why I get onto these freaking rambles about Star Wars. George Lucas shoehorned too much stuff here. Oh, yeah, Anakin made C-3PO. Like, what? What? Think about, like, why that would even be a thing. Like, oh, these two, come on, man. Like, Jabba being in it briefly, very briefly, made sense. Obviously, Yoda was going to be there, Obi-Wan. R2 had to show up, of course. Oh, he did, yeah, whatever, And Chewbacca makes sense because he's super old, too, or he's older, and they end up going to Kashyyyk and stuff. So that makes sense, that makes sense that he would be there, if he's, like that kind of stuff at least made sense. But, like, Boba Fett didn't need to be a kid. He could have just been another Fett, Jango Fett, and he didn't have a kid, and he was just the clones were after him, because the clones were all him, based on him, but it's like he didn't need, oh, here's a special one he wanted that age normally. And he's just in the second one. It's just like, okay, it's like so throwaway. Like, it would have made sense if he was a little older in like episode 3, he gets revenge on Mace Windu or whatever for killing his dad. But that didn't even turn into a thing. So it's just like, oh, here he is briefly. Here's a kid, Boba Fett, whoop-de-doo. So yeah, I could see where some of that was just like, eh. But there was so much cool stuff. The fights were really cool. Some of the CGI doesn't hold up. But some of the dialogue was good, and some of the Palpatine was great, and so was Obi-Wan. Those were the 2 highlights, just the acting. I mean, Ian McDermott, I don't know how to say his name, but he just was hamming it up. He loved it, especially when he turns into the unlimited power. Do it. Like, it was just classic. Like, he was great. And Obi-Wan, Hugh McGregor was great as Obi-Wan. But some of it, Hayden Christensen, I thought was much better in Revenge of the Sith. I didn't think he was as good in Attack of the Clones, but I think he did a much better job in Revenge of the Sith. That was a tall order. But the thing is, like, incredible actors can make some of that cheesy dialogue work, like Liam Neeson, Hugh McGregor. I think Hayden Christensen's a decent actor. I don't think he's like top level, but he's not bad. But you got to be incredible to make some of that dialogue work. But there were still some cool scenes in all of them. And Revenge of the Sith is legitimately good, at least for me. And I like the Phantom Menace well enough as well. And Attack of the Clones is my least favorite of those 3. I don't hate any of it, though. I can admit the flaws and still enjoy it. It takes a lot for me to, outside of that Halloween Ends, it takes a lot for me to like hate something and just really just be like, oh my god, everything's ruined. This turned into a longer ramble. Let's call it a long one. Try to go like another 7 minutes, get it to about 45 minutes. Same thing like Indiana Jones. I thought Dial of Destiny was pretty good. I enjoyed Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, outside of a couple of parts that were stupid. It's a fine movie. The thing is, they should have tried to get a 4th indie up in like because Last Crusade was 89, so if they were able to get one up in like the late like maybe 97, 98, I think it would have worked better. I thought Dial of Destiny was pretty good, though. Honestly, I liked it. Like, I was like, this is pretty good. Like, I don't know. I don't lose it over stuff. It takes a movie to suck. There was only one time we almost left the theater, and it was for this movie Jawbreaker from back in the late 90s with Rose McGowan. And who else was in it? I can't even remember. But this movie, like, it starts off great. You know why? They were trying to make it in the previews like it was the movie Heathers from back in the day with Winona Ryder and Christian Slater, like a great dark comedy. Heathers is a great movie. And it starts off like, okay, here we go. They kill their friend by accident with a jawbreaker. It's a joke, but it gets lodged in her throat or whatever. And then it just turns into like, they do up the one girl that's like nerdy. And then I was like, what? No. think we were like 10 minutes left. We were gonna leave. Like, screw it. Everybody in the theater, like, it wasn't a packed house, but people were just groaning in the theater. Like, what the hell, man? This is terrible. I think some people did leave. Ghost in the Machine might have been another one that. That was another. I think that was like an earlier '90s movie. We almost left. But it takes a lot for me, like, to really just be like, I hate this movie with every fiber of my being. Is there anything else? Any other movies that I'm trying to think of, like, other franchises. Like I said, with the Hobbit movies, the Battle of the Five Armies, I didn't like that much because I think, and I'm not one to be like, oh, the book, but there was things that should have been in there from the book. That movie, though, that book shouldn't have been turned into 3 movies anyway, max 2. But in reality, the book is short. At that point, each Lord of the Rings should have been 3 movies. Can you imagine that? If he had his way, Peter Jackson now would have been like, yeah, 3. But I do like the first 2 were good. I like The Desolation of Smog and An Unexpected Journey. Is that what the first one was called? Battle of Five Armies. I didn't hate it, but I was like, no. Actually, I will say, that second Silent Hill movie, was it Revelations? I remember, I liked the first one. Some of the acting sucked. Of course, they had to get Pyramid Head in there because Pyramid Head was all the rage. Everybody loves Pyramid Head. He had no business being in there, but... And then he popped up in Homecoming as well because, no. See, this is where I'll be like one of those people. No, he was a manifestation of James Sunderland. He only belongs in 2. But, some of the acting was bad. It was a movie where Sean Bean didn't die, which is always nice. It's rare. Now, he didn't die in that. He didn't die in Flight Plan, I don't think. He was in Flight Plan. I think that was the name of it. Jodie Foster. He just kicked on. He didn't die in Troy, where he's Odysseus. He hasn't died in some stuff, but he does die in a lot. I think he did. What was that movie he was in? No, he doesn't die in Ronin either, but he's not in a ton of that. I saw that in the theater, actually. Robert De Niro was in that. It's like a heist movie, I believe. Gene Reno might have been in it as well. What else? What does he die? He dies in Lord of the Rings. I'm not talking about shows, like he died in Game of Thrones. He dies in this movie where he gets stampeded by a bunch of cattle, I believe. I feel like that happened in a movie. I can't remember what. He's in a movie called The Black Plague, I think. That was about, obviously, the Black Plague with the rats and everything. Unless that was the movie where he gets stampeded by cows. I don't know. But what else does he die in? Why am I not remembering all the shit he dies? He dies in Goldeneye. Obviously, he's Trevelyan. What was I just talking about before I went on that? Turned into Sean Bean. I completely forgot. But yes, he lived in... Oh, I was talking about a movie that he lived in, right? Oh, Silent Hill. Revelations. I remember I was like, oh, new one's coming out. But the thing about the first one is they got the look down. The second one did get the look down. But this movie was... I remember seeing the first trailer and I was like... I don't want to see this, and I never saw it in the theater, and then I saw it on video, and I was like, this is terrible, and it was. But, Sean Bean, he doesn't die in Troy, he doesn't die in Ronin, he doesn't die in, I think it was Flight Plan with Jodie Foster. I don't think he does it, no wait, does he? He must die in The Island. That was with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson. I think he dies in that, right? He dies in a movie with... Oh, he dies in Patriot Games. Is he in Patriot Games? With Harrison Ford? Yeah, he's the terrorist, I think, in that. He dies in that. He dies in a movie... I can't remember what it's called. I gotta look this up. With Michael Douglas. I think he gets buried alive. He's a bad guy in that, too. He doesn't... He's in the First National Treasure, isn't he? He doesn't die in that. He goes to jail. He's been in a lot of stuff. Sean Bean's a great actor. I like him. I always like him and Robert Carlyle. I really like. Sean Bean, Michael Douglas. Don't say a word. He's a bad guy in that. I'm pretty sure he dies in that. 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. Trying to think of other movies he's been in. He played this guy Sharp in these. They were shows, like little, I guess, made-for-TV type movies. He did a bunch of them. He doesn't die in those. Maybe he dies in the last one. I don't know. I gotta look it up now. I'm gonna look up his filmography and then see the ones. Some of these movies I do. Oh, this movie Knights of the Zodiac. No, wait, he doesn't. I'm thinking of something else. He's in this, but I think he's a voice. Some of these movies I do not know about with him in it, which is a bad thing. He is in Pixels, isn't he? Does he play one of the... Did he pop up in Silent Hill Revelation? I can't remember that. Yeah, some of these movies I do not know about. My God. He's been in a lot of stuff recently. He was a Black Death it's called, not the Black. It's called Black Death, but he does die in that, I'm pretty sure. What? He was in Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief. Who was he? Oh, he might be Zeus, actually, in that. No, he's not Zeus. Who is he in that? Who is he? Oh, he was Zeus, Pierce Brosnan, alright. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Oh, The Hitcher. He dies in The Hitcher, that remake, which is not as good as the original. Does he die in that? Yeah, he must die in that because he's the bad guy. Yeah, he was a National Treasure. He dies in Equilibrium. Pretty sure. What's his name kills him. And he's only in it briefly. I have not seen that movie in a long time. Obviously, he dies in GoldenEye. Patriot Games. You know, oddly enough, he doesn't die as many as you think he did. He dies in the first movie he was in because Caravaggio, I think it's called something. Because he mentioned that. He's like, that was my first one that I died in. I don't know some of these other movies. I've not been keeping up. Essex Boys. Does he die in that? I remember watching that movie. I'm not sure if he dies in that one. That's funny. Flight Plan. It was Flight Plan. He's the pilot in that. I'm pretty sure he doesn't die in that. He's not a bad guy in that one. He probably dies in Death Race too. I'm just guessing. Some of these movies I've not heard of. Possessor, Buffalo Kids, Mummies. That's like another voiceover. Dark River. Never heard of it. So it's like he dies in a lot of stuff, but he's not dying as much as you think. Somebody else dies a ton. Matt Dillon dies in a ton of movies. But anyway, 48 minutes here. We'll call this a long ramble. Sorry, I was going on about Sean Bean. If you like Sean Bean, you might like that part. But anyway, this was a partial drink review. 8 out of 10. I was going to make this a quick ramble, but it turned into a long whispering ramble. For people who don't like gum, there you go, right? A nice long ramble. Strawberry Sunrise Alani Energy. 8 out of 10. This is a solid one. And yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.